Okay, just some best practices as we begin to work on the gator itself. Is I always use like a 4x4. You know, 2x4 would work okay, but this just works, gives it some good sturdiness. I just put it down here between the gearbox, the two wheels here, underneath the gearbox, and I'm just going to lift up. I'm going to slide that underneath there. Now I can operate the gator without having to chase the gate around. So, this little tip there. Before I get started, we're going to just test the battery. I want to make sure our battery got a good charge on it, and as we transition. And this has been here over a year now. I've had this gator on the gate. It's been working nicely for me for that period of time, and we're just going to upgrade this older unit. And I'm just going to test with a multimeter. I'm going to test the voltage, just to make sure my solar panel's keeping up with my usage. And right now I'm reading 14.14 volts, which is pretty nice. So let's see if I can do this where you might be able to see it. So I'm getting some good. If I can get it, there we go. 14.15. So that's fully charged. So we're in good shape. You can see it's some corrosion starting to set in. It's just part of the nature of having a product outside. And we're down here on the Padre Island, and the salt just is tremendous. Does a lot of damage to anything metal out here. But we use this Corrosion X. It says on here in the back, ideal for treating electrical connections and equipment. This stuff's good stuff. And just put a little bit on the terminals there, because we're going to take all the guts of the wiring. We're going to take it all off. So don't worry about that, because it's actually very simple and easy to install. We're going to switch out the old unit, and we're going to put the new CPU in place to update the whole unit. What we've done is we're going to be disregarding all of this up here, and we're going to be all of the connections now are on the top of the box, and this is going to be placed down here. And the reason we wanted to run these other wires, so we have our new light connection, our limit switch connection, and it's going to connect right up into these terminals. And there's not a lot of space on this upper deck here to screw these connections in, so we're going to want to have this down and make our connections while this is loose before we attach it in there. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to take all of this off, and all the wiring comes out. Okay, so if you've ever done demo work, you know that's usually pretty easy to do. We're just going to undo these connections. Oh, let's turn the power off to the motor, and then we'll just undo these connections. Okay, I'm also going to take these sensors out. I don't have any need for them anymore, because we're going to be setting them up differently. With the limit switch eliminates these sensors. well as all that comes out. Okay, so we've taken these sensors off, and we won't need those anymore since we're moving over to the limit switch. So we have our wire. We're going to go ahead and take the box out now. Save these bolts because you'll need them for the new CPU. Be careful of any spiders that might have made homes in here before you start sticking your hands around down in there. You know, being outside, it just what happens. I'm going to set these on the lower deck, these screws. You can see this whole thing is pretty much plug and play. It's not hard to switch out. So we're going to pull this out, and all these come out. And the only thing I should have connected now are my to the motor. And I'm just going to cut that. It's probably welded in there over time. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. Probably could do it, but I'm just going to have them cut these off right there. And that's the old CPU.